My friends, let's do this. So first things first, I apologize this video is coming out so late. It is currently 1:30 a.m. my time here in Texas. It's just, man, I was just busy today, had a lot to get done. Tweeted out a lot today. Tried to stay as active as possible, but it's just a real busy time up at my gym. We got a lot of things coming up there. And then, of course, family first, hanging out with the wife and the kiddos and everything along those lines. And I was actually going to just go to bed and not even make this video, and my brain just kept going and going and going. And so hopefully this will help me get out of here and get to sleep a little bit. But and I also promised a video, and I really always like to try to deliver anytime, I make a promise, just like anybody else, at least should anyway. So real quick before we start the video, nothing I say is financial advice. Please do your own due diligence. Please make the best decisions that are going to be great for you and your family and your portfolio. Like I always say, at the end of the day, you're going to be the one that's stuck with it, not me, not Adam Aron, not anybody else. So make the decision you best possibly can when you buy, when you sell, anything else that you do. Make the decisions that are going to be best for you and your situation. Also too, if you haven't followed me already, please do so on Twitter, Colin_Gladman. Just recently crossed 18,000 followers. Looks like it's even more than that now. 18,130. So thank you guys very much. I really enjoy interacting with the majority of you, which once again, the people I don't like interacting with, they're probably not watching this video. So probably just about anybody watching this video, thank you. I enjoy interacting with you. But it's the easiest way to ask me questions. Today, full disclosure, I was pretty much posting and ghosting. One, because I know on an AMC earnings day, I'm just going to get tons of questions and I just can't answer everybody. And so I don't want it to ever look like I'm, just trying to pick favorites or anything along those lines. But hopefully, after this week, I've got a big event coming up at my gym. And after this week, hopefully I'll be back to being a little bit more settled and can answer more questions. But at this video, I wanted to talk about my overall thoughts on earnings. I also want to talk about a little bit about, let's look at the chart, kind of see what the chart might be telling us. I want to give a cycle update. And then also to talk a little bit about BBIG and kind of my plans for that stock moving forward. So let's go over here and I'm going to pull up the chart. First things first, kind of the most obvious things that we've been talking about for a long time. I'm looking at the OBV. So OBV, guys, stands for on balance volume. And what this is going to do is it measures the buying and the selling pressure of the stock. So when there's green days on AMC, the OBV is going to trend up. And when there's red days on AMC, it's going to trend down. So this also shows, basically, you look at stocks like this, you look at stocks like GameStop, you look at stocks like BBIG, you are going to see just massive divergences. And those are going to be the retail favorites. So a lot of the ones that people are mainly just, their plan is buy and hold and buy and hold and buy and hold. So that is where you're typically going to see. But you can clearly see right here that our most recent OBV, from where we started at the $12, rocketed all the way up to like 34 something. And then now today we actually officially closed and made a lower low today. So those of you that have been following me talking about, the Elliott wave theory of the wave counts of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As far as I'm concerned, there's definitely outlier theories that's not completely invalidated, but the most general respected rules of Elliott wave theory is that wave 3 would be invalidated at this point in time because wave 2 cannot retrace more than wave 1. Wave 1 started at that 1290. We have now broken below that. We actually saw a low of $12.43 today. Now, overall, this doesn't concern me unless we start, really trading sideways, and eventually that's just going to turn into tumbling downwards. Also, too, if you've been following me, I think the demise of the stock market is over-exaggerated by a lot of people in the community and just in general. I'm not a believer that retail is going to be the ones that are accurately predicting a stock market crash. And so I actually think we got the SPY gap fill today, right around that 400 range. And so I'm actually thinking tomorrow we're going to see a little bit of a relief rally. I haven't even checked futures. Let me pull up futures real quick. Let's see what they're doing. Yeah, so futures are banging right now. It's plus 200 on the Dow. plus 34 on the S&P, and plus one. Whoa, that just updated. Plus 181 on the Nasdaq right now. So futures are very green. So I expect a relief bounce or a relief rally starting tomorrow. Wednesday is the consumer price index, so the inflation numbers are going to be released Wednesday. I believe it's before market open on that, but I could be wrong on that, but they definitely come out on Wednesday. And if those numbers are showing that inflation is being drastically reduced, then I think we could see even more of a relief bounce. So not surprising at all to see the OBV divergence. Eventually, I believe that the price is going to catch up with what OBV is showing. And the OBV is still showing a higher low, even though actual price action is showing the lower low that was created today. So like I said, for the most part, Elliott wave theory is going to be off the table as far as this the beginning of wave one, because we've made the lower low. I said pretty often that overall, unless we make a lower low and start trading there for a significant period of time, overall my bullish feelings would still be intact. And honestly, earnings helped that a lot today for me personally, as far as what I feel about the future of AMC and Adam Aron and everything along those lines. So I'm sorry, I can't see myself right now. But I took a whole bunch of notes over the AMC earnings. I won't bore you to tears with them. I mainly write them down. As a coach myself, anytime I go and take seminars or anything like that, I'm a big believer in writing things down as you're doing them. It just feels like it makes a better impression. So anyway, I made myself a bunch of notes. A couple of the highlights are going to be that AMC had its best Q1 in over 2 years. Obviously 2020 would have been COVID, and then last year was still a lot of COVID fears, even though a lot of people were starting to get back to normal. And so what I really like to hear is he was talking about how now AMC is beating even pre-COVID levels. It's beating 2019 levels, mainly from like what people are spending at AMC. So AMC, the patrons on average are spending about 34% more than pre-pandemic levels. So that's, once again, to me, that just shows how many investors really believe in the play, and people are excited to get out again, and they want to spend money at the movie experience, okay? I know when I took my son to Doctor Strange, we both we got the tickets, we got the commemorative cup, we both got nachos. I mean, it was a ton of money, but we do it for the experience aspect of it. Once again, you can't see, but directly to my right in my movie room, I've got over 140-inch projection screen here at my house, and I'm not trying to watch Doctor Strange on that, even though it's awesome. I'm trying to watch it in an awesome recliner with awesome food, and people. The experience. I won't spoil anything. I almost said it's a spoiler, but there was moments where the theater's cheering and everybody's excited, and it just feels good to experience stuff like that with people. So, let's see here. Another thing that I liked is the fact that they are closing crappy movie theaters and opening and acquiring better movie theaters. They had a minus 62 locations since they've really tried to start restructuring this thing. And as far as I'm concerned, cutting as much dead weight as you possibly can is a good thing. You don't want, if you're trying to row the boat, you don't need an anchor attached to it. You need to get rid of that anchor and get back to rowing the boat. So I like that they're hearing that. Once again, all the food and beverages numbers were up. They ended Q1 with $1.5 billion in cash. Now, they also burned cash. I want to say they burned about, and please don't take this for gospel because I'm going over it all in my head, but I want to say they said they burned about $60 million in cash in Q1. Now, typically for the movie theater industry, that's very common because Q1, not a lot of big releases or anything like that. People don't go to the movies near as much, and so they were cash flow positive, and Q4 burned a little bit of cash in Q1, but it was less than what was anticipated. And when they have $1.5 billion in cash and cash equivalents, which mainly it's cash. I think it was like $1.3 billion in cash, and then another $200 million in like a credit line that they can access if they need to. But when you think about, once again, you got to put things into perspective. So obviously $60 million or like $67 million is a ton of money. However, when you go, we have $1.5 billion cash available to us. That is, and I actually did the numbers on my phone earlier today. You're talking about 0.4% of their overall cash is what they burned in quarter one. That is not a big deal. So if you were running a business and you had $100 in your bank account and you burned 40%, or excuse me, 40%, 0.4% of that, what is that? Well, 1% is going to be $1 of that. So 0.4% of that, you're talking like you burned like 40 cents, is that right? Or 4 cents? I'm sorry, it's late. I can't do that math. But you're burning such a tiny percentage of that cash that you got coming in plus. And if you burn that much cash and you were like, but hey, by the end of this year, I'm going to have another $50. You wouldn't even think twice about that. So yes, they burn cash, but to me, it's a very small number that, you even need to worry about or stress out about. I'm certainly not. Another thing is they made $63 million off of their gold and silver mines through HYMC, the Hycroft Mining, and they said that there's going to be more investments like that ahead, which I love to see. I love them spreading out their money into not just movie theater business or anything like that. That way, AMC itself is very diversified. The popcorn is still on track to roll out this year, as well as talking about other food services, and that's going to sound like it might be a little bit more selective, but rolling out more food. I mean, once again, I don't have an AMC theater, unfortunately, within about 5 hours of driving for me where I'm at. So any way that I can help AMC, ordering their popcorn online, ordering their food online, anything like that, I'm definitely going to do it because yes, I want AMC to squeeze, and yes, I'm a believer in that, but I just love movies, and I'm a believer in going to the movies and the movie experience, so I want to support the company as much as I can. They talked about the NFTs. Investor Connect is 675,000 members now. Last time I heard a number reported on that, it was like 450, so that's awesome growth there, like 225,000. The last thing I want to talk about, and then we'll jump back into the chart more, is I want to talk specifically about what Adam Aron said. And I tweeted out earlier, to me, there's no doubt in my mind that the way he was talking about Doctor Strange as far as, and if you haven't listened to the earnings call, first off, you drive me crazy. You want to make a lot of money in a company, but you're not willing to take the time to go listen to the earnings call of the company that you are invested in. To me, that's just lazy. Now, if you haven't had time yet, I'm not talking to you, but get it done. Listen to the earnings report. Listen to the man in charge, Adam Aron. Listen to him speak to you and to me and to all the other shareholders. That's so lazy. Don't do it. Go listen to the earnings call. It's about 45 minutes long. You can make the time. So anyway, sorry, I'll get off that high horse. But what I really like is this is the first time I really feel like I've heard Adam Aron specifically talk to a lot of the concerns. And he brings it up. He goes, I read my Twitter thread. I read all the messages you guys send me. And one thing that he did say that was a little concerning was like people were threatening him with violence and things of that nature. Like, come on. And I know that's not virtually any of you guys that are watching my content, but that is just bananas, okay, in a non-ape monkey way. But he was talking about how, and I'm going to use some quotes here, so I'm going to read directly off of that. And he said, I see your frustrations about our shares. He also said, there's 4 million who own the vast, vast, vast majority of our 516.8 million shares. Here's probably my favorite quote. Don't interpret silence with inaction. So he's basically telling everybody there's things going on behind the scenes that he probably just can't talk about. I can only imagine, you look at guys like Elon Musk who are just rage tweeting about the SEC all the time. And I mean, I can only imagine how much trouble they can bring to your life. So he's trying to keep them off of his back. And who knows, he might even be working with them. Who knows, Gary Gensler might be, I doubt it, but he might be doing way more behind the scenes than we even know. And that's the reality of it. I truly believe, there's people coming out all the time going, look at this filing, look at that filing. And just like not predicting the stock market crash, there's going to be one day we wake up to a piece of news that's just like, oh, baby, let's go. That's the way I feel about it. But once again, full disclosure, I'm a contrarian. I don't do what I feel like. If I feel like the herd's all going this way, I'm going to go this way. And I'm still wrong sometimes, okay? Even when you try to use that view, you're still going to be wrong. But 100%, whether it comes to when I gamble on sports or anything along those lines, I'm 100% more right than I am wrong. Just like I believe that with my TA or anything like that. 100% I'll be wrong sometimes. I will miss the mark sometimes, but I'm going to be way more right than I am wrong. And at the end of the day, that's all I'm asking for. I'm asking for more wins than losses. So don't confuse or don't interpret silence with inaction. He also talked about his personal interest as an AMC shareholder, not just as a CEO or anything along those lines. And the bottom line, guys, is rich people are always just the people who you view as above you. Okay, it's not. I guarantee you, if you ask Adam Aron, like, hey man, who do you think is rich? He's gonna be like, you know what? A dude like Bill Gates or a dude like Elon Musk. Now that's real money. Jeff Bezos, that's real money. Like I've got some money, but like that's real money. Everybody always views the level above them as what is rich, if you will. So he's talking about how he still has an interest in 2.9 million shares. Right now, he currently owns right at about 800,000. It's 793,000, and he's got another 2.1 coming his way. So he said specifically, I am here to think and act like a shareholder, and I really like that. He also went in to talk about the shareholder meeting is June the 16th. You can go to that. I won't be going to that. I will actually be out of town anyway, but you can go to the shareholder meeting. He talked a little bit about merchandise, and he also talked about how debt for AMC, they've got some debt covenants and papers that will not allow them to issue a cash dividend until June of 2023. So that's what that tweet was about from me, is that if it takes that long for them to issue a dividend to actually get a share count, that's fine. You keep the price this low, that's fine. I'm just going to keep buying more. I have thousands of shares right now. I don't know if I'd have thousands more, but the way I do my cover calls and everything like that, I'm going to have a whole heck of a lot more shares, a year from now, I guess a year and a month from now, than I do right now. I got all the time in the world. I'm just not stressed out about it. So, but I didn't get into AMC as a get rich quick scheme. Once again, my first buys in AMC were January of 2021. I posted it on my Twitter. Feel free to go back and check for receipts. My first buys of AMC were at $2.92. Not because I got in for a squeeze, but we were going to start reopening from COVID. Obviously, movie theaters had been killed from COVID, so I thought it was a great time to buy, the world's largest movie theater chain with movies coming back, people getting into theaters, things of that nature. Now, full disclosure, that took longer than I thought it was going to. I thought we would get past this a long time ago, but now we're really getting there. We're starting to see attendance numbers, blockbuster movies. There was a CEO that said basically the simultaneous release theory is completely dead as far as he was concerned at this point in time. So I definitely see at least windows. I think we'll get to streaming services. Yes, they will get the movies and everything like that. They're going to get them faster than the old school days, but there's definitely going to be theatrical exclusive windows. And we're starting to see what's going on with Netflix and how much debt they have. You thought AMC had a lot of debt at $5 billion. Holy cow, Netflix got $15 billion. Now, obviously, I'll be honest, I don't know all their financials for Netflix. I'm not invested in Netflix. So, apples to apples of how much they make versus how much debt they have. It might be a better situation, but still $15 billion of debt is $15 billion of debt, no matter how you slice it. So I like to hear Adam Aron's concern about addressing their debt. And I mean, just overall, he just said nothing but, to me, really positive things. I'm glad he's in charge. It was the first time, once again, I really felt like he was talking to the shareholder about the manipulation and the dark pools that he specifically talked about, all that kind of stuff. So overall, very, very happy. Okay. Now, cycle update. Let's update the cycle and talk about it just a little bit. So, cycle chart wise, let's take a look. So, and feel free to go back and check my Twitter. You don't have to. I'll check it for you. So, on May the 6th, right here. On May the 6th, I tweeted this out of essentially everything that it was going to look like was going to lead up to happening up until earnings. Now, if you'll notice, I've got a purple line right here. So this purple line ran all the way across. This purple line is right here. Now, what it is I always talk about how not everything is going to play out one for one. I also talked about how my biggest concern previously with AMC was this little orange box right here, okay? And you can see when it fell out of the orange box, and then we had the rip up to like the $12 range, you can see that it basically came down and it touched the 786 at about $9 and then shot up. But then coming down to earnings was its low point. And if you get in here real close, and we will in just a second, you can see it made a lower low right here. Okay, so that's kind of why I put this purple line here. If we're following more of the pattern, then I could see a lower low being made below that 1290 right around earnings time. Literally happened on the same day. So let's jump into my cycle chart, and let's jump in here a little bit closer. So, well, sorry, I'm going to keep this on the 30 minutes. So, and I hope my big old fat watermelon head's not in the way. But you can see right here, this is where we came down at the orange box currently. Literally on earnings day. And sorry, as I change the timeline, it moves these arrows and everything like that. But literally on earnings day, we made our official lower low, started to bounce up. Here, back in April, right here, literally on earnings day, made its lowest low before rebounding, starting its upward accumulation, ripping up, created the new SOS, so SOS, sign of strength, right here, came up, retested this area, had its pullback, boom, we got the markup. So this still looks accurate to me, okay? This does not stress me out. This, below here, I was just kind of drawing these out with the orange and the yellow lines. But I repeatedly said not all of this is going to be one for one. And I think a big reason none of this is going to be one for one, guys, is once again the overall market. So the overall market just took a big old fat dump today. But like I said, our futures are ripping as of right now. Sorry, I've been doing this video long enough. Yeah, I mean, plus 250 on the Dow. So it's going to come out ripping, at least to start the day. And so if tomorrow we, move back up in here, get above, this 1450 range and start tracking right along this yellow line, if it winds up, looking a little bit different, that's okay. Now, if we start falling off, and tailing off, here towards the end of May, then this will become invalidated for me. But not yet. Okay, I think it still looks good as of right now. So the next big level I'm going to be looking to get over, is going to be right around that 1450 range. I think we get over 1450 and we're definitely going to get a test of 16 again. And I talked about on Twitter today how everybody else was freaking out. The market was tanking and everything like that. But you know what your boy did? What'd I do? I bought calls. Let's see here. Boom. Bought calls into AMC earnings. So if we do get an overall market rally this week, I am going to be super happy. Just like I also tweeted out, I didn't buy some crazy YOLOs or anything along those lines. I bought a significant amount of a very reasonable price target to me. If the market does rip, and if it works, great, I'm going to make a lot of money. And if it doesn't work, great, I'm going to lose a very little bit of money because that's how bad IV was getting crushed and everything along those lines at that point in time. So that's pretty much everything. Oh, real quick, for those of you in BBIG, for the most part, I'm pretty much chilling. We do have a bullish divergence on the MACD. The MACD is still making higher. We're pushing up higher lows and higher highs. The RSI, it still has a bullish divergence, even though the price is coming back down. We'd be looking at possibly getting, maybe like I'd want to see, this 20-day cross the 50-day EMA, providing that support. So maybe coming down as low as like 283 or anything like that. But if the overall market starts ripping, I anticipate BBIG ripping along with it. The setup looks great. The breakout looks great. Might come back and retest this line before moving up. But I have a ton of shares in BBIG. And so I am I'm holding all the way through the end of May. Please go look at what happened when Overstock did its dividend. Because the owner of Overstock got really tired of shorts. They did their, big cash dividend and everything like that. And it took, I think I was looking, it took like 4 months, but Overstock went from like, $6 all the way up to $128. So obviously no guarantee on BBIG doing anything like that. But until some of these upside gaps start filling, up here in the 450 range and the 7 range and everything like that, honestly, I don't know that I would sell anything before I saw all-time highs leading up to all this cryptide stuff and everything like that. I think it's a great play. Who knows exactly what's going to happen? Do I think BBIG is going to go a lot higher than what it is right now? Yes. And I'm just holding it in my swing account. Is what it is. My cost per share average, I think, is like $2.52. So I'm very comfortable where that is. The only time I would be looking at adding BBIG is if it came down here and obviously touched this line that I got drawn out right around the $2.15 range. But I don't see that happening. So I'm very happy with what's going on with BBIG. So just chilling. We need the overall. It held up pretty well. Despite what was going on in the market today. So we just need the overall market to improve a little bit. I think we'll see BBIG really start ripping here over the next month to 6 weeks. That's going to be everything. I'm sorry this video is so insanely long. Just had a whole lot to talk about, and I'll catch you on the next video. All right. I'll try to get out, somewhere around. I'm going to try to get back on a more regular schedule. This week, like I said, is going to be crazy, but I'll try to get out another video too. And other than that, the overall market looks good. AMC is going to move on up with it. Overall market looks bad. AMC is going to be held down with it. But like I said, I got nothing but time. I'll just keep making money in other plays. Keep making money selling covered calls. You guys, if you follow me, you've seen my tweets. Virtually every single week, I'm making like $500 to $600 in cash secured puts and cash covered calls. And all that is just going to be going to buying shares and everything along those lines. And like I said, honestly, I use that money. I should have probably bought shares, but I used my premiums from last week to buy calls for this week going into earnings because put my money where my mouth is. I tweeted out everybody was doom and gloom about earnings, and I was like, I think we might get some good news. And honestly, I thought earnings went great. Beat earnings, revenue, earnings per share, both beats. It's just everything looks great with AMC. Sorry, I'll let you guys get out of here. Much love, and I'll see you on the next video. Have a good one.